All right, let's dive into Tijuana real estate, specifically for anyone in San Diego thinking about maybe making a move or even checking out rental properties. We're zeroing in on Plaza Toreo, a place where Tijuana's past and present kind of, shake hands.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What makes Plaza Toreo so interesting to you?
Well, the really interesting thing is how this one spot, it really shows how Tijuana's been changing. We're talking about a bullfighting ring, a legendary one that's been reborn as this super modern complex. It's a whole store. You see, El Toreo de Tijuana, it was the cultural hub for 70 years, and not just for bullfights, concerts, rallies, even I Love Lucy filmed an episode there. This place has seen it all.
Well, and I bet the guest list was pretty impressive too.
Oh, you have no idea. We're talking Humphrey Bogart, Marilyn Monroe.
Wow, talk about adding a little old Hollywood glam. Right? So how does a famous bullfighting ring become? Well, what is Plaza Toreo today?
Okay, picture this. 150,000 square meters of construction right where that bull ring used to be. We're talking hotels, high-end offices, luxury apartments, and of course, public spaces, restaurants. Plaza Toreo, it's going for that whole city within a city feeling.
I see. So instead of your morning coffee overlooking a park, you get a view of this modern complex built on, layers of history.
Exactly.
Not bad. But let's get into the specifics, if you don't mind. What makes this Park Toreo residential stand out? Is it a good option for someone who's actually picturing themselves living in Tijuana?
Okay, let's talk luxury living. 2 towers, 256 units, starting around $220,400, which, by the way, is way more affordable than what you'd find across the border in San Diego.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, and for that price, you're not just getting an apartment, you're buying into a whole lifestyle. The Park Toreo residential, it has 3,400 square meters just for amenities. That's a major selling point for people used to a certain level of, comfort and convenience.
You mentioned San Diego, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are wondering about that commute. Where does Plaza Toreo fit into this whole, cross-border lifestyle?
Well, Plaza Toreo is in a prime spot, right in Tijuana's golden zone. That means you're about 15 minutes from the border. So imagine this. You're sipping your latte in Plaza Toreo, and in a couple of hours, you could be at a Padres game in San Diego.
Okay, now that is convenient. They designed this place for people who want, the best of both worlds Tijuana living, but with easy access to San Diego. You got it. That's the beauty of the golden zone. It's a huge draw for people who value that kind of flexibility and access.
Makes sense. Speaking of access, this golden zone, it sounds kind of exclusive. What makes it so golden? Is it just the location, or is there more to it? It's a bunch of things, actually. Being close to the border is a big one, for sure. But the golden zone, it's also got a ton of, high-end places, shops, restaurants, even healthcare. You've got it all right there.
So it's not just about being close to San Diego. It's about having everything you need right there in Tijuana.
Exactly, and that's a huge draw for people coming from a place like San Diego, where convenience and lifestyle are, top priorities.
Makes sense. Now, I got to ask about this Adamant Gran Toreo, this other residential tower you mentioned. Adamant, it sounds pretty strong, like they're trying to make a statement.
Oh, it's definitely a statement architecturally speaking. And yeah, the Adamant Gran Toreo is another example of that high-rise luxury living. But remember how we were talking about developers using those historical elements? Well, this tower is right next to Plaza Toreo. It's almost like a modern take on the bull ring's grandeur.
So you step out of your luxury apartment and you're right in the thick of it all. Speaking of which, we keep talking about these luxury apartments. What can someone really expect to pay in a place like the Park Toreo residential? Give us the numbers.
All right, well, like I said, prices start around $220,400, which compared to San Diego is a steal. But what's cool is you've got options. They've got 1 to 3 bedroom units, so they're catering to different needs and budgets.
So whether you're a single professional or a family looking for a change of pace, there might be something there for you. But I'm guessing those price tags come with certain expectations, right? What are the amenities really like?
Think resort-style living, seriously. We're talking swimming pools, fitness centers, even rooftop gardens with those amazing city views. Some places even have concierge services, co-working spaces. They're pulling out all the stops to create that live work-play environment.
Okay, I'm sold on the play part, that's for sure. But what about the work? Earlier, you mentioned these office buildings, the Toreo Corporativo and Central Toreo. What's it like to actually work in Plaza Toreo?
Okay, imagine this. You're not stuck in some boring old cubicle farm. These offices, they're designed to be bright, open, and collaborative. We're talking floor-to-ceiling windows, outdoor terraces, maybe even an on-site coffee shop.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. That sounds way more appealing than my current office setup.
It's all about attracting the best people, and companies are realizing that a great location with amazing amenities, it can be a game changer.
Right, happy employees are productive employees, as they say. But it can't just be about attracting big companies and high earners, right? Is there a place for everyone in this new Tijuana? What about affordability for the average person?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something Tijuana is definitely grappling with. While these luxury developments are driving a lot of the growth right now, there's a real awareness that they need diverse housing options.
So it's not just about building a playground for the wealthy, it's about creating a city that's accessible and inclusive for everyone.
Exactly. There are a lot of initiatives in the works to promote affordable housing, revitalize existing neighborhoods, and just make sure that Tijuana's growth benefits everyone, not just a select few.
That's really good to hear. Because a city thrives when everyone has the opportunity to succeed, not just those at the top. Now, with all these changes happening, what's the vibe like on the ground? Are people excited about this new Tijuana?
There's definitely an energy, you can feel it. People are drawn to the excitement, the opportunity, and there's a sense of pride, too. Tijuana is shedding its old image and stepping onto the global stage.
That's got to be exciting for people who've called Tijuana home for a long time. But change can be tricky, can't it?
Of course. Not everyone's over the moon about how fast things are developing. There are definitely concerns about preserving Tijuana's unique character and making sure this growth is sustainable in the long run. And those are valid concerns.
Right, because Tijuana's identity, it's not something to erase, it's something to celebrate and weave into its future.
Exactly. And that's the tightrope Tijuana's walking right now, balancing progress with preservation, ambition with identity.
Yeah, it really is a balancing act, isn't it?
It is.
Trying to build a future without bulldozing the past.
And I think that's what makes Tijuana so fascinating right now. It's a city that's, writing its next chapter. And you can feel this, sense of possibility.
Yeah, for those of us up here in San Diego, it's almost like watching a neighbor transform right in front of us.
Exactly. And the invitation is there to be a part of it,
Yeah.
Not just watch from a distance.
That's true. So for someone who might be, on the fence about making a move, what would you say is Tijuana's biggest selling point right now? Besides, the obvious things like affordability and being close to San Diego.
That's a good question. I think it's the energy, honestly. There's this vibrancy here, this spirit of reinvention. It's contagious, It's a city that's not afraid to take risks, to try new things, and that's really exciting to be around.
I can see that. It sounds like Plaza Toreo, with its mix of history and modern stuff, is a pretty good example of that energy.
It really is. You have those echoes of the past, the legacy of El Toreo, right there in these sleek, modern spaces. It's like a physical reminder that progress doesn't have to mean wiping out history.
Yeah, I like that. So for someone listening to this right now thinking, okay, this is interesting, but is Tijuana right for me? Yeah, what would you tell them?
Come see for yourself. Walk the streets, explore the neighborhoods, have a meal, talk to people. Tijuana has a way of surprising people. It's a city that defies expectations and challenges those preconceived notions.
Well said. It's been fascinating taking this deep dive into Tijuana real estate with you. From the history of El Toreo to the rise of Plaza Toreo and everything happening around it, it's clear that Tijuana is a city on the move.
It definitely is, and the best part is, the story's still being written.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening, whether you're seriously thinking about a move, looking into real estate, or just curious about what's happening south of the border, keep Tijuana on your radar.
It's a city worth watching, and who knows, you might just find yourself wanting to be a part of its next chapter. Thanks for watching this video by Sandro Alberti and 101 Paths. Be sure to catch all of our other videos about Tijuana real estate. And if you're interested in visiting Mexico to see the latest luxury residential projects, sign up for Sandro Alberti's free private tours every third Saturday.